Hello there and welcome to Mind Your Business. I'm Jennifer Anderson, host of the show. I'm also the Executive Director of the Georgina Chamber of Commerce. Mind Your Business is a new show right here on Rogers TV Georgina that talks and focuses about businesses, and it's for businesses, especially during this time of need as we go through the pandemic and try to navigate our way through not only COVID-19, but the financial relief, the information, and the resources that are available to businesses and organizations. This is our 6th episode. The first 5 we're focusing a little bit on the different levels of government. And the reason for that, obviously, as those financial reliefs came in, as those grants started to roll in, we wanted to make sure that we had that information available to businesses. And now we're reaching out. We're looking at different businesses and organizations. And today I'm thrilled to have 3 executive directors from local not-for-profit organizations joining me to talk a little bit about how their organizations are going through the pandemic. First, I have Susan Gorman. She's the Executive Director of Jericho Youth Services. Susan, hi there.
Hi, Jennifer. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Yes, thank you for being here. We also have Danielle Corin, who is the Executive Director of Roots Connecting Communities. Hi, Danielle.
Hi, Jennifer. Thanks so much for having me.
Thanks for being here. And we also have Marie Morton, who is the Executive Director of Hospice Georgina. Marie, you're joining us as well through our Zoom conference call.
Yes, I am, and very happy to be here today. Thanks, Jennifer.
Thank you. You are all my link neighbors. You are not right now. We are all at home. We are, navigating our way through this whole time. But normally, when I'm walking down the hall at the link, I see any number of you. So it's nice to have you connecting with me during this episode. Susan, I'm going to start with you. For everybody at home who doesn't know what Jericho Youth Services is, why don't you tell us?
Okay, so Jericho Youth Services has been in the community for 38 years now, and we provide after-school programs to the children and youth throughout Georgina. We have 5 after-school programs, and we serve about 140 kids every day.
Wonderful. And Danielle, as the Executive Director of Roots, tell us a little bit about what your organization does.
We are called Roots Connecting Communities. So we have been around for 30 years. We are also located in Sutton at the Link, and we call it compassionate transportation for people transportation barriers. So we help people who are experiencing social, physical, mental, financial limitations to using other modes of transportation. And we work with volunteer drivers, and they take our clients to medical appointments and to reach important services in the community.
Right. Very good. And Marie, also an organization that is very helpful to our community is Hospice Georgina.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Hospice Georgina is a community hospice. We've been sharing the caring in Georgina since 1994. We provide non-medical support for palliative people living with life-limiting and life-threatening illnesses, their caregivers and families, and the bereaved.
Right. So 26 years. Mm-hmm. I'm doing my math. Almost 26
Not
years.
making it easy.
It's that now. I'm homeschooling now with the kids. So it's the math of 1994. You're in your 26th year, 30 years, 38 years. All 3 of your organizations have been very active within Georgina for many, many years. Yeah. And as we continue, obviously organizations who continue to thrive in this community for that long must see significant changes when something like a pandemic, when closures, when everything takes place. So let's talk about seven weeks ago. Mid-March. I know, Susan, for you, we were coming into March break, and all of a sudden, when you have a summer camp or a March break camp that is about to take place, things changed quite rapidly for you.
They sure did. So, of course, the schools have closed for obvious reasons. And so for our after-school programs, because they are free to our participants, many of them come from single income, high priority neighborhoods. A lot of those kids were getting their breakfast and their lunch at school, and then they'd get a healthy snack from us. So in these last 7 weeks, that's been one of the things that's kept me up at night, is some food insecurities for our families. But with United Way has been great. They've been flexible with our funding, and so we've been able to do some food and fun bags. So we're getting food out to not just the participants, but their families as well, and the older children in their families, and giving them some fun activities to do as well.
Right. And certainly you have seen changes as well, Danielle, with, having volunteer drivers and having programs with volunteers coming into your organization as well.
Yeah, that's correct. So most rides we are doing are to medical appointments, just regular appointments to do blood work, to go to treatments. And 7 weeks ago, we saw a lot of them being canceled. So we are still doing some rides. I mean, people who need to go to the Ontario Addiction Treatment Center still have to go. People are doing cancer treatment also still have to go, but our rides are maybe 1/4 or less than 7 weeks ago. Yeah.
Very good. And as well for you, Marie.
Yeah, well, the interesting thing about being in a community hospice is death and dying and non-COVID related illnesses still go on as scheduled. So we are still supporting our clients who have cancer or COPD or any variety of conditions with our visiting volunteers who are now doing phone calls rather than in-person visits. Our groups where we've been able to, things like spousal loss groups, have gone via Zoom. We're doing the same thing that the four of us are doing right now. We're helping our clients navigate practical needs. They have to go to chemo, so they need a mask. If they're going to go to South Lake, they have food insecurity. They need whatever they need. We're trying to help them navigate those needs. So we are carrying on doing that work as much as we can, just with a different delivery method.
Right. I think especially working with an organization and having clients or having people come through your doors, not only are you feeling the effects for your staff and for your organization, but you're also feeling, and Susan, you said that, being up at night, being worried about the people that have become so familiar with your organization. It has to be difficult to, deal with that ripple effect.
It absolutely is. And so, we've been also doing friendly calls, reaching out to our participants, offering resources and referrals, 211, the Kids Helpline, CAMH. What we're finding mostly is that the kids just want someone to talk to. There's lots of things that a lot of them can do online, those that have that access. But it's engaging them in conversation. So I think it's been helpful for them to reach out to someone that was familiar with them on a daily basis and someone they can just talk to.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a great segue, because I know for Danielle and for Roots, there is, you have created a program for people who need somebody to talk to.
Yeah, that's correct. We started we call it Friendly Call program. We were noticing that a lot of our clients were lonely, felt isolated, and when they were taking rides with us, the volunteer driver was basically the only person they talked to, maybe once per day, once per week. And when the rides were not happening, they really felt isolated. So what we decided to do is we call it a caring conversation along the way, to take that out of the car. And now our volunteer drivers are calling our clients on a weekly basis and just have a chat about anything that is of interest to them.
I love that. And I love it that it's not It's not therapy. It's not, you're not dealing with any medical issues. It really is just a conversation. And, I think we all go through that loneliness working from home. And, so when it gets heightened, if you are alone, it's nice to have a friend and nice to have that call. Yeah. Marie, the organization that you work with, and this goes back to my previous question about the idea of working with people and feeling that empathy for what they're going through and struggling. You, with your clients, with the type of organization that you have in dealing with bereavement, and you have often worked with very empathetic situations. So how is this different? How does this situation, how is it any different for your staff?
Yeah, well, it's interesting in that it's the same in some senses, but then it also is very unprecedented. These, like I said, death and dying and bereavement go on despite what's going on in the world not related to COVID-19. And so our clients who were socially isolated before still are, but that's been exacerbated now that visiting volunteers, our volunteers have 30 hours of training before they work with our clients. Instead of seeing that person in person, now it's over the phone. And our volunteers and our staff are finding that those phone calls now are longer and perhaps more frequent because the situation they find themselves in is just that much worse. And it's a bit of a wake-up call for all of us as well. This is the different piece. So it really can make us more empathetic because now we can all identify with, wow, I can't leave the house and it's beyond my control and I'm lonely and the world is out there, but I can't go out into it. So that's just a peek into what our clients' daily life is. And for our clients who are bereaved, they are not able to engage in the kinds of rituals and routines that we normally would do in a bereavement that help them cope and help them manage their emotions and see what the road ahead might look like. Getting a hug when you've just lost somebody you love, being able to have a funeral. That's not happening now. So all of these things, it's just making those feelings of loss of worse. And we're going through a collective trauma that even when all this is over, all of those feelings, there's going to be a tsunami for all of us of collective grief. So it's been a very interesting landscape for us.
How do you deal with that? How do you deal with the stress of, and this is open to all three of you because you're running organizations that are imperative to our community and to folks in our community. So, I give you a lot of credit for the strength and the resources to move on and navigate your way through this.
Yeah, it's our staff and our volunteers have really been outstanding. But a little bit of advice I think that everybody has heard out there is you do need to be mindful of your self-care. Be mindful of your cues of when you're feeling overwhelmed. Take breaks. And sometimes you have to feel what you're feeling. If you're feeling upset or overwhelmed, to not just ignore that and push it down, but to acknowledge it. And if you need to have a good cry or you need to, whatever you need to do that makes you feel better, that helps you cope, to do those things. Because we're all human and this is, nobody's ever been through anything like this before.
No. And we're all going through it together.
Yeah, absolutely.
Apart, but together. The federal and provincial government and now the latest, the municipal governments have all issued different types of grants and loans and programs. Each of them are varying eligibility, but I know a lot of them include not-for-profits. Have any of you reached out or have any thoughts on the programs that are being offered, or would like to see something different for our not-for-profits?
So for us, of course, because we are in the schools and we're not running our programs as we were in the physical world, our staff, most of our staff have been laid off, and so they have applied for the various benefits available to them. We just on Monday, when the wage subsidy opened up, we applied for that. So we're anxiously awaiting that approval, which I'm sure will come through. But yeah, there's I think the information coming at the federal and the provincial level, and also summarized by you at the Chamber, has been very helpful.
Thank you. Thank you, Danielle.
Yeah, I agree with Susan. Thanks so much for sending out that information. We also are applying for the wage subsidy program, so we're really hoping that we get some funds there. We are also applying for the Seniors Respond Fund, but that is more to do something extra for the seniors. So what we want to do is connect with some local restaurants, and then we want to reach out to really low-income seniors and provide them with a hot meal every week, and then we will deliver it to them. But that is more like an add-on what we are already doing. So I think it's great, all the help that different levels of government are offering.
Right. And for you, Marie?
I would echo what everybody else said, that there are some great programs out there, and we're applying for the things that we're eligible for. We're grateful that Hospice Georgina has really tried to make sure that we're financially stable. So we're not in panic mode or emergency mode. But the thing that I think concerns me most is the longer term, because we are still providing the services that we have provided. But I foresee the time after, when things go back to normal, whatever that's going to look like and whenever that's going to happen, is that the demand for our services is going to really ramp up, and there hasn't really been anything out there yet to address what that's going to look like. So we're going to have a huge demand, and we're going to need to increase our capacity to meet that.
Well, and let's talk about that, because, there are amazing programs that are out there right now, but it really is the unknown. There's that no end in sight, or nobody can give us that date where everything goes back to normal. So is that concerning? Is that 6 months, 12 months, 18 months concerning for each of you?
Yeah, certainly. Well, go ahead, Danielle.
I think it's really the balance, because I really try to live from day to day, because every day is different. And if you think, okay, what might happen next week, that can be very anxious, let alone what might happen next month or 6 months from now. But from a business plan point of view, you need to plan ahead more than one day. So it's really it's a balancing act, yeah.
Yeah, it absolutely is. I think that many of the organizations, not just the three on here, but a lot in Georgina and York Region, have proved to be flexible and responsive to the vulnerable people that we work with. But it's like Danielle said, it's hard to plan long term for that.
Right. What I've noticed for each of your organizations, and I know, there's an increased level of social media, just especially during this time, making sure you get the word out about your organizations. But each of you have kind of adapted to the situation and created new programs, created and evolved existing programs. I know, Marie, we ordered some pansies and we did it on your website, and they were delivered right to our door. So it was a wonderful opportunity to still continue an annual event that you hold.
Yeah, thank you for your support, by the way.
They're absolutely beautiful.
Homestead Garden Growers does it for us and grows our pansies and does a great job, and they're local. So that was the important thing that we were looking at. We've been doing that fundraiser for as long as we've been in existence. And at the time our pansies were ready, people were really starting to look at the weather and say, oh, well, I might be stuck at home, but, it's time to start gardening. And so we were able to fulfill our fundraising obligation to be able to do that business with Homestead Gardens and to provide that some beautiful pansies to people in the community, so that now that they can do something in their yard and feel productive and have a little bit of happiness. So it went well, and we were really grateful to our volunteers who did a lot of door-to-door deliveries, and all done safe and with social distancing and in coordination with the town and New York Region Public Health. So that went really well. We were pleased.
Very good. Danielle, you talked about the friendly calls, but it's just one of the pieces that you've been doing to adapt to the situation.
Yeah, we are now doing a lot of deliveries for the different food pantries in York Region. So normally we took clients to the food pantries, but since the food pantries have been moved to delivery of food hampers, we are now delivering those food hampers. Also with the community meals. So normally we took our clients to the different community meals. And now we are bringing community meals to clients, so around 40 community meals on a Thursday, for example. So that has changed, yeah.
Right. But even, and I know you mentioned even the grant with the seniors meals, it's creating a new program, adapting and evolving to the current situation.
Yeah, we are just listening to the needs in the community and try to find a way to help them, because as we all nonprofits, we see the struggle among the residents, and it's, I think, our responsibility as a non-for-profit to listen to those needs and do something with it.
Right. Susan, I can see you nodding. You agree with that?
Absolutely. We have with Canada Helps have a donation page, and unfortunately, Gore Mutual is matching those donations. So we are upwards of about $6,000, and with that, we're able to provide those food and fun bags to our participants as well.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw on your Facebook page the babysitting course.
Babysitting and the Home Alone course, those are coming up. So those are great things for the kids to do now. Yeah. There'll be a first aid and CPR course coming up soon too. So yeah.
All of those things that you just...
Yes, new adapting programs.
Any of those programs, I know they are relevant right now because it's essential for you to continue to do those programs this way. But once things are, I know we keep using that normal, back to normal. But 6 months from now, do you see any of the programs that you're implementing now becoming part of your routine because they just work?
Yeah, I really hope that we can continue with the Frantic Call program. When I did some research regarding this program, I met an organization in California, and I contacted them if they had some resources for us. And she told me they were doing 300 calls per week with 300 different volunteers. And the stories she told me, it was just, I thought that's amazing. So if we can grow our Friendly Call program, that would be great.
Right. And I would think too, offering some programs for kids who maybe can't get to the programs might be something that Jericho might look into.
Yeah, we are looking at virtual and YouTube videos and things like that. But I mean, you can't do preteen dances virtually.
No.
They can't wait to get back to that. So.
I don't think we give enough credit to the youth right now for what.
I was definitely going to say that, kudos obviously to all of our frontline workers and the grocery store workers, but I don't think we're giving enough credit to the kids who are going through this as well.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
What do you want folks at home to know about your organization? Just in terms of right now, what can they do to help your organization? Marie, let's start with you.
Well, I think I'd like everybody in the community to know that we've been here for the community, grown out of the community since 1994, and that we are still here. We are doing what we have always done, although a little different. We are still accepting referrals. The best way to reach out to our staff is by email, but we are checking our voicemail. So if anybody needs our help, we are still here. We've been getting lots of referrals. People are still volunteering. And also for all of us, our ability to fundraise, and we fundraise about a quarter of our budget, is going to be diminished probably for years. People in Georgina are very generous. May 5th coming up is Givingtuesday now. If anybody's familiar with that, Givingtuesday, usually the right after Cyber Monday in the fall, winter really. But May 5th is going to be Givingtuesday now, and it's a day to give to not-for-profits and charities to help all of us continue to do our work. So if anybody wants to help not-for-profits, Tuesday is a great day to do it.
Right. Thank you. Danielle, what about you?
So something very timely is we are doing a bottle drive this Saturday. It's from 10 to 2, and you can drop off your bottles at the Boston Pizza, and it's all COVID friendly. There is enough social distancing. You can also email us bottledrive@rootcc.org, and we are going to pick it up when you put it at the curbside.
I love that if anybody checks your Facebook pages too, you can see these ongoing events, because if you miss one, there's always another one that you can join in. Susan, just a few seconds left. What about you?
Thank you. Yes, I just want to echo what the ladies have said, that we are still here and relevant, and we are still reaching out to all of our kids. Like I said before, I think engagement is key for them.
Perfect. Thank you so much, ladies. I miss all of you very, very much.
We miss you.
Yeah, I hope very soon that we are all next door to one another at the link. But in the meantime, I wish you a lot of success and encourage people to go online and check out each of these organizations and see what they have to offer. Thank you for joining us today. And on behalf of everyone here at Rogers TV Georgina and the Chamber of Commerce, thanks so much for watching Mind Your Business, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.